So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to BW Wellbeing World. Today, we are thrilled to celebrate World's Father's Day with a very special guest who has brought joy and laughter into our lives through his incredible wit and humor. Joining us is none other than Cyrus Brocha, a well known comedian, television host, and actor, someone everybody knows in our country. Beyond his illustrious career in entertainment industry, Cyrus is also a dedicated father known for his unique and engaging parenting style. Now, in this special interaction, we will delve into his experiences and insights of fatherhood, well-being, and beautiful journey of balancing the successful career that he has with his family life. So please join me in welcoming the ever entertaining and insightful Cyrus Brocha. So Cyrus, thank you so much for joining us today. Cyrus, before we move into our series of questions that we have for you on this special day, can you share a little bit about your journey as a father and how it has shaped you both personally and professionally?
Harvinder ji, firstly, father ka jo kaam hai, it's 2 minutes of pleasure and a lifetime of misery, as the famous poet Rumi said in Farsi, which I can't translate directly. I think the main problem is with I have 2 children, so the first child, it's almost like you're learning on the job. With the second child, some experience, so you're I wouldn't say better father, but you have some idea of what you're doing, good or bad. But I'm a very strong dog person, Arvinder. I've grown up with dogs. I walk my own dogs for all my life, no matter what happens. I'm always racist about don't touch my dogs. Like some people don't like their fancy cars being driven by drivers. I don't like my dogs being walked by anybody else. So I have that because of a dog relationship. I think I have a strong maternal bond anyway. या paternal bond जो भी है क्या फर्क है आजकल maternal paternal में but so that was there. But my wife was a lead parent, definitely with the first child in the first few years. And I was more like a waiter in the room. Ye lao, wo lao, ye khilao, wo pilao. So I really don't want to advise anyone about how to be a father because it's such a unique perspective for every family, for every person, from your own personal dynamics and who your kids are, who your in-laws are, parents are, etc. So all I'll say is that every time you have another child, in a way, it'll get easier. Having said that, please don't have 9 children. We are already 1.4 billion. I'm just saying the second child is a lot easier walk than the first one.
And Cyrus, you know what? जब पहला बच्चा होता है ना, so बहुत सारे लोग advice करने के लिए होते हैं, and you are also very receptive to listening to everyone because you feel that you don't know anything, and also you're very cautious. So उसको बड़ा protected करके रखते हैं, उनको बिल्कुल righteous बना के रखना होता है. And the second child we're like, छोड़ दो अपने आप हो जाएगा, let him be or let her be. What is your take on people coming and giving an advice? Do you think you should listen to them or say that let me experience my own being with my child?
Sir, आपने एक super point present किया यहाँ पे because I feel कि just like with anything in life, human beings like validation. So people who are not fathers or not parents are the ones who give the most advice. कि ये करना है, वो नहीं करना है, ऐसा करो, वैसा नहीं करो. Or they'll tell you about imprinting from their point of view without any experience or data that if you do this, your child will become a psychopath. No, I can't tell you. If you start listening to everyone, I think you'll go berserk. They say now it takes a village to raise a child. I feel that's all very good, but don't listen to every villager. So it becomes out of control as far as I'm concerned. But it's also so easy for people to advise क्योंकि वो लोग है नहीं यहाँ पे. You're doing from outside your perspective. There's no tension, pressure because you're not in the battle. It's like how I'm watching a cricket match. I'll tell Kohli and Sharma to go and bat in a certain way. So I'm safe here, outside. So the perspective is complete rubbish if you ask me beyond the point. The only people to listen to are those who've had children because at least what they're saying they've experienced if they're telling the truth. वो तो है. But again, it's a unique issue. My son is the elder one, daughter's the younger one. Very different personalities and very different experiences. Are not better or for worse, but for me it was very different, the experiences. For example, beta ke saath, I never thought of any complex. Beti ke saath, one day she asked me in the car, you listen to all this music, we're listening to, and young girl, when she was 6, 7, all this music, but they're only male singers. How come there are no female singers? And Harvinder, I never think of myself as sexist. I'm from a very liberal family, blah, 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 what's up. But then I suddenly realized that I am also a passive sexist. You know how we are. So I've grown up without any female idols in terms of music and all that. Lots of male singers that I like, Western musicians, Indian, whatever, but hardly any female. So
Mhm.
that was a big eye opener for me because she just said, ki, why aren't there any female singers? Suddenly I woke up and realized, okay, abhi sochna padega. And so quickly I had to find Lata Mangeshkar and Madonna and whoever I could think of and, insincerely tell her how great they are without any knowledge whatsoever.
No, I think that's a very important perspective because, I think what I've seen around with my friends and everybody around, that even as a parent, forget about father or a mother, as a parent, our behavior also changes with our belief systems around how a girl child needs to be treated versus a male child needs to be treated. I think there's a lot of learning that needs to happen there. But Cyrus, what are some of the qualities that you feel that, irrespective of the gender, irrespective of the age, uh, first child or a second child, are certain qualities that every father must demonstrate? Are there some memories that you have or special moments that you can remember of your being a father and which have been a significant impact on approaching parenting?
See, I have so many embarrassing stories also as a first time father. One, I remember my father in law passed away in America, and my wife, poor thing, went all the way to the States to bring her mother back, which was a terrible week for her and all that. And we fetched her from the airport, fetched my mother in law as well. और बिल्कुल silent था गाड़ी में because it's awkward what to say, didn't know what to say, and feeling very bad of course, but also what to say. You can't just suddenly say cricket में ये हुआ. So we're driving. After some time, my 3-year-old son looks at Nani and says, Nani, if you're feeling sad, don't worry. Let Dada give you a bath. You'll feel better. Because we had this thing about having a bath together. So he's telling his Nani to let me give her a bath. And that just broke. We all started laughing. It's such a silly thing to say. So I I try to talk to them, my kids, like normal from the beginning. Some I don't encourage the uncle and all this. I say just talk normally as far as possible because after some time there's fake respect also. I don't encourage all that. You be respectful to everyone, but no, don't have the fake respect with everyone. So I try to kill that because India mein, I can't bear the sir culture and ma'am culture. I try to cut that everywhere we go to work, etc. Sir, कि कुछ लोग हैं. I'm saying not sir, not sir. There's no sir. We are just working together. My name is Cyrus. Your name is Jairam. That's our names. So with them, I try to be egalitarian. That's the word I'm looking for, as egalitarian as possible. But it's very difficult in our society to do that because everybody else is treating the children a little differently. My wife keeps complaining that you're more like the friend, I'm like the parent. They always have good things to say about you, and always like irritated with me. But I guess a lot of couples, the one parent is softer, one parent is more flexible, one parent is, if you like, more malleable, and the backbone jo hai wo kam hai. Yeah, the spinal cord is missing, and I think that maybe that works. It's like good cop, bad cop situation.
Mhm. But tell me one thing. I mean, when you became the father for the first time, with your first child, how does your relationship between the spouse and you change? Did it change?
We had a major fight over my German Shepherd because I've lived with my dogs on the bed in the room all the time, and she didn't want the dog on the bed. It's because the doctor gave us some wrong rags about the dog being not good for the child or something, which of course we proved to be wrong. So we had a very difficult period there because, like I said, I'm a hardcore dog person. I only get violent when people attack animals. So for a little while, that was a problem. Also, my wife was very possessive of her first child. I don't know, maybe mothers, just the motherly instinct was much stronger. So I was honestly on the sideline for the first 2-3 years. Literally, I was like the help, literally to fetch and carry and, give us some peace of mind. I would read a book or whatever to Mikhail, my eldest one. But the moment he crossed around 4, and I must tell fathers this with the children, once he crossed that 4, you come into your own. Because when it comes to playing, which is that period where the kid really wants to play, you're going to be the guy. Okay, unless of course you're one of those fathers who doesn't like to play. But I loved it. I played cricket, I played football. We used to box, we used to do martial arts, we used to do wrestling. I relived my childhood. So that I appreciate a lot. I had lots of fun, and we broke things in the house. My mother got angry, my wife got angry. It was like we were two kids, not father and son. So had a great time. But the first couple of years, very much mother's child.
So I think the bonding happens over things that you do for fun.
Huh. I think the bonding happens at a slightly older age with the kids with the father. of course, today's father is very much holding the child and doing everything. Maybe that our fathers didn't do so much. But I do feel that the mother's role initially is just unbelievable because she's giving from giving the food and milk, etc., to comfort and everything else. So I didn't compete. I was not a problem with me. I was quite happy to get better sleep. You know how it's like. Anybody out there who wants to be a father, remember first thing that goes is sleep. In the
Yeah, I know.
background, one of my children are walking. Yeah.
And Cyrus, you have a busy schedule. I mean, and also a very erratic schedule because you have different shoots at different places. How do you balance your professional life with your personal commitments towards your children and towards your family?
See, luckily for us, see, my dad was a lawyer. So he used to do basically 9 to 5, 9 to 6 kind of timings and all. But for us, what happens is, ek din pe kaam hai, ek din pe kaam kam hai. Suddenly you have 4 5 days with no work. So there's no excuses in our kind of world. Maybe you won't get every day, but there's enough breaks in your career and time where you have enough time for kids. So I've spent enough time as to take them to the Oval Maidan, play outdoors as much as possible. Dropping to schools, picking up from schools, a little bonding. Now me and my daughter, we go to the gym in the morning together. She's 17 now. But she gets up early at 5 o'clock, comes with me at 5:40. We're inside the gym by 10 to 6. And so these are quality moments, might as well enjoy. Pata nahi kya hoga abhi, 17, 18, and then she'll stop coming with me and your relationship will become a little different. So I really enjoy that. We listen to music, we chat, we argue, we fight, we joke. Uh, I feel if you can keep a little disciplined schedule of iske saath ye karu, uske saath wo karu, you will get something out of it. But you can't just expect it to happen. You have to try and plan. How do you say work on a marriage? I think you have to also work on your relationship with your children a little bit. So it's so easy to get caught up in something else. मतलब मैं थक गया अभी, मुझे time नहीं है, मेरा mood नहीं है, mood खराब है. But the youth of the children was real fun for me. I got so tired, boss. I mean, wrestling and shouting and screaming and all that. But I mean, you can't get that back. That's just beautiful, that period.
Right. And बहुत बारी Cyrus, fatherhood is a very thankless job because you're doing things like you said कि सामान ले आओ, ये कर दो, बच्चों को छोड़ाओ, स्कूल से पिकअप कर लो. uh, and doing that, it takes a lot of time, and you have your professional life, you have your personal life, and you also get tired because you're getting older with age. uh, what is your advice to people who struggle finding time, or at least they claim to struggle finding time for self-care when they do not get time for themselves? I mean, they leave in the morning, they go for work, they come back, and they want to spend time with their children. What is your advice to them?
Harinder, for me, honestly, ये सब बहाना या बहाने होते हैं इसमें because you have 24 hours and you have to just plan. Everything can be done. I mean, you can sleep 15 minutes less, for example. There's many ways to, find. When people say they don't have time to work out or to walk their own dogs, children should be top of that list. How can you not give them some time? And keep in mind कि ये एक window है. That window will start closing and they become adults, and then it becomes much more difficult because they are busy. They don't have time for you. There'll be a point, probably that will happen. So I feel that the parents are just being lazy or complacent and letting it be, those who don't enjoy. And I feel bad for them because this is the best time to have a little time with your children. Why would you let that go? You can't get it back. In the innocence, the first time they're playing a sport, the first time cycling, the first time falling in love or things like that. And I mean, there's so many little things that you can't. When I think back, I'm thinking, ये तो एक बार हो सकता है, उसके बाद नहीं. And that's it. That's a one take situation. So I think we make too many excuses. Honestly, there has to be some time, no matter how busy you are. Even a Shah Rukh Khan, comes home and hugs his children, gives them 10 minutes and all that. So if the top of the line guys can do it, there's no excuse for anybody else.
And you said that you wake up at 4:20 in the morning and 4:21 you're out. How do you manage your own self-care? Your mental well-being, your de-stressing yourself. How do you manage that?
This is a pandemic की वजह से ये सब हो गया because I couldn't walk the dogs. The police used to give us trouble, so I started going earlier and earlier. So I found this 4:30 time to be the best. The cops were not around. Dogs could walk freely. So from there, I got into this habit. Also, I stopped drinking alcohol in 2015. So रात का जो activities है वो almost cancelled हो गया. So I'm very happy to sleep by 9. Yesterday and 2 days I've been shooting. So I've only slept 4 hours. But I don't change the habit. Sleep less, I still get up at the same time. It's natural now for me. Just, you're a little tired, a little sleepy, but that's it. I just continue with the day. I don't change it and sleep till 8:30. I'm up. It's all good. But
आपने
again,
हाँ, please go ahead. Sorry.
no, I'm saying again, it's not like I'm special or something. I'm just saying there's just enough time. There is enough time. No matter how busy you are, there is enough time. Of course, it may not be 1 hour or 3 hours. It may be 20 minutes, but there's time to spend with children, especially when they're small children, little children. How can you not make that time? It makes no sense to me. Otherwise, they'll soon become ungrateful, horrible people. Huh? Once they cross into teens and all, boss, not easy. Talking back, obnoxious. Oh my God, you have no idea. The second part of parenthood, I think I need the therapist.
Yeah, I think you just nailed it when you said you have to make time. So it's not about taking out time, you have to make time for what you think is your priority. And अभी Cyrus आपने बातों बातों में बोला था, हमारे parents जब थे, our fathers may not have done that, but today I do it. What are the things that have changed, in your opinion? How have we evolved as a society that fatherhood of a generation before is very different from what we see today?
I think if father का जो role है, जो stereotypical role, I grew up in the 80s and 90s. That was very nice. But I think we are closer to being the mother. The mother's role is now for both. We are playing the mother's role as well as the father's role equally almost. Spending more time with the children, not that formal time after work, etc., which many of fathers, grandfathers would have. So I think that's just the way society has changed. There's no reason for that. But lots of fathers are hands-on, and the wives are insisting, the mothers are insisting कि boss कुछ करना पड़ेगा, otherwise there will be penalties, and those are very harsh penalties. So then I think peer pressure भी है उसमें थोड़ा हल्का सा, because you see around the fathers are dropping their kids, the fathers are picking up their kids, taking them for the football class, taking them for whatever, especially early morning. For example, it's a 7 o'clock call time to drop some kids somewhere. You have to do it. There's nobody else. It's just ridiculous not to. So there are enough contributions that happened even initially from the father, which maybe wasn't there before. And I feel that once they reach about 4 5, we play if it's not 50-50, I would say father's playing almost 60-40 role in favor of the father. Not to compete with my wife is here only, so I'll talk softly. Yeah. But otherwise I'll be a father without a family.
So let me come back to my earlier question, Cyrus. I mean, हम जब well-being की बात करते हैं, father's well-being, इसके अंदर, do you think, today's parents need to be more physically fit than what we've seen in the past? Is there a need for them to be taking care of their health more than ever before?
Oh यार, अभी ये internet के वजह से I think we've got a lot of peer pressure for all age groups, and the kids will also tell their parents to shape up. But yeah, physically more demanding, no question. My dad played with us. I remember him playing with us, but not as much as I played with my son and daughter, and not as much running around. I mean, he did lots of good stuff. I'm not going to ever say anything bad about my own father, but I'm saying physically we have definitely been pushed more. Maybe the next generation will be pushed even more. So just naturally you'll have to get a little more fit to keep up with the kids. And kids are very tiring. I mean, with yourself, I'm sure. You try to play with a 7-year-old, 5-year-old, boss, 15-20 minutes, you know your real stamina. Because you can't match their energy level, but it's so much fun, for a little while. I think we should not let yourself not have that experience as a young father. Just enjoy that experience, because wo jo hai, wo hai. You can't duplicate it, you can't act it out, you can't watch it in a movie and enjoy it like a reflected memory. It has to happen. I think it's just beautiful. I feel bad if the father has not done that and enjoyed that.
Cyrus, abhi lately, what we've seen is people are getting married very late. And it's not just the women, but men also. They want to be really successful. They want to enjoy doing what they are doing, and then they want to get married, and then they want to enjoy their married life enough before they start having children. So the parenting starts very late. What is your advice, other than telling them that, the first thing that you will lose is your sleep? What is the other advice that you'd like to give to the young fathers of today? The first time fathers.
The first thing I would say, if you're an older parent, is not a bad idea. I think with that certain maturity and all, I know obviously your physical stamina and strength and all goes down a little bit, and you don't want to be that father who's taking part in father and son race who looks like the grandfather, and that also happens because 50 saal, you have your first child, or 45 साल पे first. There are a couple of guys that I know like that. They're great guys, but yeah, that's a little bit of a gap, which is a lot. But definitely, all said and done, I think we shouldn't get into this thing. Ki, kab shadi hui, kab, what age are you going to have your child? I think that again you start complexing yourself. What can you do? Everyone's life is different. You have to make the most of what it is. So uh, also maybe maybe you weren't very good looking, couldn't find anyone. So you had to wait till 40s and lots of makeup. Um, but I've seen people around me in our, urban like Mumbai, Delhi, Bangalore, those kind of cities. We are seeing more and more of these professionals, like you point out, who are waiting till they're really well settled and suddenly have that maturity maybe to have a family. So it's going into their 40s. They're actually starting their 40s, what we would do in our late 20s at the most. But just, that's the way it is. You just have to, not get complex, I would say. Just, go with it, go with the flow. There's a gentleman in America, some tycoon millionaire who's 97, who married his secretary who's 63. Boss, he's my hero. 97 pe shadi ki. I mean, that's really positive, yeah, positive thinking.
Hey, Cyrus, have you ever thought of, what is the legacy I'm going to leave behind for my children? Have you ever thought of it?
I find that I sound very arrogant if I tell my children legacy, all the usual things, just to be good, good as in not very good because that's very boring, but, just not to harm people, hurt people, not be malicious, not, pick on, be offensive, those kind of things. As long as they, don't turn out to be racists and communalists and all these strange labels, I'm okay with the rest. थोड़ा corruption, कभी कभी रिश्वत लेना या देना है तो कर लो यार, this is Hindustan. Let's say the bar is not very high, but I suppose everybody wants the children to be good human beings. The one thing we do worry about much more than yourself, as you will know again as a father, is you worry about them, their safety. Like my daughter goes out, she started going out now on weekends and all that. I really get scared. I used to drink a lot and I used to party a lot, and I'm hoping that there aren't men like me out there, who were chasing girls and misbehaving and all that. So that bad karma, whatever you want to call it, is coming back a little bit. So the fear we have, I think, for ourselves is much less than what we have for our children. That is a very, very strange thing.
And Cyrus, I mean, you are known for your humor. How do you use humor? Do you use it as a part of your parenting? Is there an
They never laugh, Harvinder. They never laugh. Formal joke or informal joke. Kuch bhi kahun. There's no reaction which is positive. I'm in a family where they make me feel really bad. You have no idea. I'm thinking, should I complete my LLB only and get a proper job here? My daughter, her reaction to me is always the same. Her eyebrows go up. Anything I say, like some mad person is come in the room and talking. And my son, he's now in Canada, but my son would basically, our relationship was 2 words: move, because I'd be covering the TV screen while walking. So that was the conversation. But I don't. They're all sarcastic. My family is very sarcastic. I don't know, but funny. But yeah, not too many kind words are spoken.
And Cyrus, today one of the challenges that most parents talk of very openly is the challenge that they face with the children using technology, screen, their presence on social media. And what is your take on this, and what has been your experience?
Harvinder ji, I'll tell you one thing. Maybe I'm wrong, but my point is कि आप क्या control कर सकते हैं दुनिया में? Can you stop them drinking, smoking, drugs? Can you stop them taking political stance? Can you stop them getting to the internet? I'll stop it in my house. She'll find it somewhere else. I'll stop it wherever. They're too smart, yeah. So I don't even get into that. I argue with my wife with this also. We have to just hope that they do the right things and try and inculcate do the right thing. We cannot actually physically stand holding the hand and say, Daru mat pi, ya ye mat karo, ya wo mat karo, ye wrong, ye right. So I'm not even getting into. I'm just hoping that we brought them up somewhat correct and they do the right thing. As far as the internet goes, my brother-in-law doesn't give the kids even phones. They're 12 and 13, whatever. He's from another world altogether. I'm like, this is now 2024. They can't be the only children in the class who don't have a phone. The only children in the class who don't have access to a laptop. Without internet, without, I mean, we can't pretend to live in, we're not living in a village 2 kilometers from Jabalpur. We're living in very South Mumbai with all these kids, with all these things, and we have to cope with it. So anyway, let's see who's right or wrong. But because I don't think we can control them. We'll just get anxiety. What are we going to do? We just hope for the best.
So, what would be your message to children who are using social media or have social media presence at a very young age? What would be your piece of advice in a funny manner? Because you really can't be serious with them because otherwise they'll stop listening to your gyan. So what is it that you would like to tell these kids about taking care of themselves while they're living a parallel life in a digital world?
Well, I would not try to lecture them at all. I'm just hoping that you brought the child up in such a way that they go online and don't want to join ISIS, or go online and don't want to watch some execution videos in some country far away. So I'm just hoping that we've already inculcated all these things, and that they're reflections of us. The
Mhm.
philosophy and thought should be more or less coming in 80-90% from the people around them: school, family, friends, support group. So how do you tell them? Who's going to listen anyway? If you tell them sternly and say, "Ye mat karo, wo mat karo," I don't think it's ever going to work. So we don't even try getting that. But I've seen parents who are doing that. Their kids will come to my house and use our computer or whatever. We won't even know. I won't even know what's happening beyond a point because they're so savvy with technology and all that. So my only thing is that we can't. This control, Kim Jong Un style is not going to work. We have to try and just give them a chance and hope they make the right decision. I mean, curiosity and all that, they will watch the wrong thing, they will see the wrong thing. But let's face it, Harvinder, we are both been young men not too long ago. So they can't be that much different from us here. And hopefully, whatever we did, we didn't cross the line completely and go berserk. So that's it. And my
Absolutely.
kids don't listen to me. I try, they'll just walk away.
Now, I think, Cyrus, what is important is to have faith in your child.
Exactly.
Because it's very, very important because, we remember when we were kids or maybe when we were growing up, we knew what was right, what was not what was incorrect. So we knew what we could do and what we should not be doing typically because the value systems came from our parents. And we should hope and have faith in our kids that they also will be able to make their own right decisions. With that, Cyrus, my last question to you is, what is your piece of advice or a message, not an advice, but a message to the fathers of today?
This is what I'm thinking. Fathers of today, just first learn to not think about your role. You're putting pressure on yourself कि मैं father हूँ, मुझे ये करना पड़ेगा अभी, मेरी behavior ऐसा होना चाहिए. Why? You don't have to suddenly change avatar because you're the father. I think a lot of people, they become distant from the family members and kids in general because they suddenly put on this show of मैं leader हूँ, मैं whatever. I'm not saying become their best friend and fall on the floor and roll like a mad person, but I'm saying just try to normalize it, the relationship, as much as possible. They'll take the pressure off you also. Have normal conversations, talk about normal things. Don't be afraid of philosophy and views because they're going to find them. You can't say, yeah, she's underdeveloped, will not understand. They'll understand. They understand faster than us. So my only thing is don't put pressure on ourselves by thinking कि boss मैं कुछ हूँ. अरे मैं तो उनको सिखाना पड़ेगा. It's not really like that. You just have to be the father and provide and make sure the Zomato delivery comes on time through your phone for them and everybody's happy.
Cyrus, this has been such a beautiful conversation because one of the big takeaways actually comes from your last message is that, आपने पहले बोला था कि peer pressure भी है. We are expected to do certain things. And now you just said that, don't define your role. And I think what is important is to identify that there is a human life in your house. Just like your parents, just like your spouse, there's another new life which is coming to your life. And enjoy their presence, be present to them rather than doing things out of your responsibility. Rather than doing
Correct.
that, just chill out and relax and enjoy being present to their presence. I think is the message that I take away from this conversation, listening to you,
और
what you just said.
हमें एक चीज भी कहना चाहूंगा if you don't mind, and that is कि I'm a big fan of informality, and I'll tell you why. Not just with kids, I just feel कि we become too officious and formal all the time. Where the countries are at war, people don't get along, neighborhoods, colonies, communities. A lot of it is because they just put their hand around the other guy and say, "Chal, take it, bhai, ho gaya." Just be more informal. I feel like the families are more informal, the kids are more relaxed, everybody can communicate better. If you want to be the official leader who's standing far distant, आपका हाथ में stick है and all that, I think the communication gets more distorted. So this is, I think, for everyone. Just be more informal and we'll have a better world. And if not a better world, at least the kids will grow up and leave us alone.
No, no, absolutely. I think that's a beautiful note at which we should close the conversation because कौन क्या करेगा बड़े होके किसी ने ना सोचा था पहले, ना हम सोचेंगे उससे कुछ होने वाला है. So I think we should just believe in our kids, let them be, and yours is a classic example of making time for your kids, doing things with them rather than doing things for them. So I think जिंदगी अपने आप अच्छी हो जाती है. It's a great inspiration that I can sense from your own life. So Cyrus, thank you so much for your time. It's such a beautiful conversation. मजा आ गया.
Thank you, sir. My pleasure. Thank you very much. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.
Take care. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.